Dear e-learning kid artists, this is a 2-week art project for you to do at home with your family. Weaving is a textile technique that is fun for artists of every age. Your whole family is invited to create their own weaving. Here is a suggested schedule. Week 1. Watch this video. Create your loom. Wrap your warp. Post a photo of you and your loom or in-progress weaving on Schoology. Week 2. Review the video, especially the second part. Gather materials for your weft. Weave! Post a photo of you and your finished weaving on Schoology. Happy weaving! Miss Portia. P.S. Weaving is especially fun to do outside. Today we're going to learn about weaving. Weaving is the interlacing of two sets of threads to create a cloth or fabric. You may have woven before. Have you made a pot holder for your grandma? Or maybe you've taken your sister's hair ties and scrunchies or some craft loopies and made a weaving using your fingers. Perhaps you've even seen things woven in nature. Spiders and even birds are known to weave. Here are some vocabulary terms that will help get us started. Loom, the structure that holds all the strings together as we weave. Warp, the strings that go up and down and stay stable and still. Weft, the strings that go under and over, left to right. Or as I like to tell my amazing kid artists, under and over, right to weft. Can you believe it? For centuries, people all over the world have used the technique of weaving to make baskets, blankets, rugs, tapestries, and even clothing. I got to see weavers in action when I visited them in Southeast Asia, in the countries of Laos and Thailand. Before eating the most delicious pad Thai noodles and driving deep into the jungle to spend a whole day with elephants in their natural habitat, I observed weavers using traditional weaving techniques on big wooden looms. The weavers used their hands and even their feet to weave intricate patterns. These weavers acquired their threads from a very unusual source. Can you guess? Silkworms. Like a spider, a silkworm can produce a thread from its body. It uses this fibrous thread to form a cocoon. The weavers then carefully unwind this cocoon to collect the thread. 2,000 to 3,000 cocoons are needed to make just 1 pound of silk fabric. The silk can then be dyed using different parts of plants. Leaves, roots, and fruits can all give glorious color. After the silk threads are prepared, the warp is wound and the weft is woven. Let's get started gathering materials. You'll be able to find everything you need within your home. A loom can be created using just about anything. A box that came in the mail, a box of noodles, a paper plate, or even a toilet paper roll. And if the quarantine has you a bit stir-crazy, you may find other objects to weave on. I've chosen a piece of cardboard. You'll need something to cut with, and something to write with and maybe measure with. Our weaving will be a little bit less traditional. We're going to be looking for all kinds of strange materials around our houses to weave with. No need to run out to the craft store for this. Think like a resourceful bird building her nest and look for all kinds of interesting things you can weave. If your fragments aren't already cut into strips, take a pair of scissors and snip, snap away. Great, you are all set. Let's start by creating the structure that holds it all together, the loom. You may want to ask an adult or an older sibling to help you with the cutting and the measuring. If you like things precise, you can use a ruler. But if you're like me, you can just eyeball 6 notches at the top and the bottom of your loom. Then, with permission or with help, cut out those 6 notches on both sides. Before wrapping your warp, I suggest marking each notch with the numbers 1 through 6. There! You got yourself a loom! And now it's time for the warp, the strings that go up and down and keep things stable and still. Find your longest string, or tie a few fragments together and begin winding the warp up and down and then around to line up each notch vertically. After the final notch, tie the end of one side of the string to the other and snip it off. Okay, now that your loom has a warp, you are ready to weave. And now all that's left is the weft. To begin your weaving pattern, tie your most simple weft to the first warp. Maybe it's a piece of yarn or a strip from an old t-shirt. Take the end of your weft and go under the second warp, over the third, under the fourth, over the fifth, and under the sixth. Don't pull too tight. You want to keep your warps nice and straight. Take the end of your weft again and go the opposite way you came. Over, under, over, under, over, under. And pull till it's just right and not too tight. To remember the pattern, try saying this chant. Under, over, just right, not too tight, out, and around. Opposite way you came. Under, over, just right, not too tight, out, and around. Opposite way you came. When you get to the end of the weft, tie it to the warp. If you're a kid artist looking for a challenge, here are some ways you can take your weaving to the next level. You can tie in tassels, string in beads, or even attach a weaving to your weaving. Now that you're all done weaving your weft, it's time to tie it all together. Start by cutting the warp on the back of the loom. Then take 2 neighbor warps at a time and tie them together. You'll do this for the top and the bottom. You can use your loom to create more weavings. When you've made more weavings, you can tie them together too to create one very long weaving. Oh, there's where I left my sock.